Curtis, you want to start us off with our special guest?
Yeah, I saw a video of this person in this costume earlier today. Just, in general, I mean, how much fun are you having doing this kind of thing? I mean, not too many coaches do that, and it seems like you don't take yourself too seriously, and you're just having a blast. How's that going for you?
Well, Curtis, we weren't having a blast on Sunday during our exhibition game. But yeah, I mean, we want to have fun. We also got to try to win games. We understand that too, but we are having fun.
And then to follow up on that, just what response have you seen from the guys this week in practice, and I guess what are your expectations for this weekend against North Texas?
Yeah, I guess, Curtis, you know how you pass out candy on Halloween? We're basically passing out starting spots like we would Halloween candy for the game on Saturday, because we're not really sure who's even going to be available. So, we are passing out starting spots, like I said, just like we would Halloween candy.
Thank you.
Bob, in case you didn't know, that was Coach Muss under the mask.
I didn't know if Curtis knew who he was talking to.
Sorry, I got so scared I forgot to unmute. Hey, Eric, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Bob?
Hey, how did you've obviously played North Texas these last 2 years in regular season games. Now you're playing in an exhibition game. How did this come about that these guys are coming to play y'all here?
Number one, they're really well coached. They play at a pace where they're disciplined. They have good shot selection. You're talking about a team that that wins too. And so I think you want to try to challenge your team. You want to play against a different style of play than maybe we've seen, just amongst ourselves. So, I think it's a really good game for us for all those reasons.
I mean, did they call you or did you call them, or kind of who set this in motion?
I have no idea what Coach Ruda does with the schedule. He just kind of tells us the dates of the game, and then we just show up.
But I guess you think it's important, especially you guys struggled last week, like you said, obviously didn't play like yourselves. Do you think it's important to play maybe a higher level team instead of another D2 team?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, having the ability to play an exhibition game, against another Division I opponent, I think is a really good thing for college basketball. I think it'll be good for North Texas. It'll be good for us. There's other programs doing the same type thing. So yeah, I think it's a good thing for sure.
And how much better do you expect you guys to play, even if you're missing some people? And what are you expecting from the team?
I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. When I went back and watched, the game tape, we actually played pretty hard. Which makes it a little scary that we weren't able to create more separation in a home game. But I think this team is a team that's going to grow from where we are. Now, how much we grow, Bob, from, where we were Sunday to Saturday, I don't know. I know that after this game on Saturday, that we'll have roughly 10, 11 days of good work before we play again. So we know we have to get better for sure. And we also have to get healthy. I mean, that's the other thing is we prided ourselves on coming out, being really healthy to start years. And right now we're not at that, we're not at that spot that I would like to be from a health standpoint.
We were talking to Devo about, the NIL stuff, and you said he'd done so well with that. I guess, did you know he's got his own billboard in Jacksonville?
I have heard and seen online that he does. Yeah.
How cool is that? Have you ever had a player have his own billboard, even in the NBA?
I don't think I've had my own billboard, so I think it's pretty doggone cool. But yeah, I've had players that have had their own billboard, but they were making pretty good salaries. if Gilbert Arenas or one of those guys had a billboard. But yeah, for a college student athlete to have a billboard up in their hometown I think it's really, really cool.
Is that a Knicks jacket you got?
Yeah, Coach Thibodeau sent me some good gear, so I'm sporting it.
Okay. God knows you need it. Thanks.
It's orange. It's in the Halloween spirit, guys.
Nate?
Yeah, Eric, just with is there any extra pressure on, even though it's an exhibition game, just coming off kind of a subpar one to win, and as far as just perception with fans and everything else?
No, I mean, I think that, from a perception standpoint, I mean, we're ranked in the, 15th or 16th, depending on the poll. We know that, I mean, the reason that you have exhibition games, the reason you have red, white games, it's to tinker with lineups. It's to tinker with schemes. It's to have game tape where you're able to go back and evaluate to prepare you for your best game. So, I'm much more worried about Mercer, right now than I am North Texas. No disrespect to North Texas, but we are going to scout them a little bit more than we did, the game, the first exhibition game, because we really didn't scout at all. This one we're doing, maybe 1/4 of what we normally do, but we're still in training camp. We're still trying to figure out, how we become a better team. It's no different than when an NBA team is in their exhibition season. They're still trying to get ready for their regular season, which is certainly what we're trying to do as well.
Individually, what do they have coming back from last year's team?
Yeah, I mean, Bell is a guy that, he's what we call a flyer. He's a great offensive rebounder that comes in from the weak side. He's a left-hander who can make 3 balls. They have some guards back like McBride that can shoot the ball. They have a transfer from the University of Washington who can make a 3 and has good length. So as has been the last couple of years with North Texas, they're a very talented team and a team that many, feel, are going to have a really good chance to make an NCAA tournament again.
Thank you.
Andrew?
Hey, Coach, Devo was just in here and said that he feels like he can do whatever it is the team needs him to do. And after the first exhibition, you were saying that you would hope they'd have more assists, and he thinks that he can, fill that role. Do you think that you have guys on your team that are capable of being like a true point guard like that? Or do you think it's just something that you're going to have to do as a group?
I mean, I think, we need all of our guards to be table setters and we need to be a high assist team. I mean, that means you're sharing the ball. That means you're getting good looks. That means less scoring off the bounce. We want our creativity off the dribble drive to be able to get open shots for other people, whether they're dump off passes for dunks or whether they're kick out 3 balls from the perimeter, or whether they're weak side pairs actions, or whether we throw it in the post and get some scores out of our split action game. So certainly, more assists than what we saw in a 40-minute exhibition game, Andrew. We have got to get to that point eventually. We need those guys, quite frankly, to be Devo, JD, and Chris Likes.
And, during the game, it seemed like Jalen Williams made so many key defensive plays that kind of sparked the run there in the second half. And you talked about his leadership a lot and what he means, but just how much does he mean to what you and your team do defensively, and just kind of the versatility that the team has?
Yeah, Jalen is, he made some big plays for us in the second half, but our center spot really did not follow the game plan at all on our pick and roll defense. They kind of did what they wanted to do. They didn't get out and hard show, which was the game plan. So I was really disappointed in our, defensive following the game plan in that first game. Because you can be disappointed in following the game plan, but they can still play hard. So I did think they played hard, but you brought up Jay Will late game. He's our best take a charge player, meaning he lay his body in front of people that come off the bounce. And then he also does a really, really good job of protecting the rim with shot blocking. And he did make some really opportune plays when we needed them the other day. And he's our defensive anchor. I mean, he's a guy that we rely on and we trust. That's why I was a little bit surprised in our overall defensive pick and roll play at that spot.
Scotty.
Hey, Coach, I was listening to you earlier in the week on, I think, John Rothstein's podcast, and you said that Chris has had a good last 3.5 weeks. I'm curious what that, from your viewpoint, that development has looked like.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Scotty, that, anytime you're a new player and you come into a culture of like we just practice at a pace that a lot of people just aren't used to. There's not a lot of teaching that goes on during our practice. There's a lot of teaching that goes on prior to practice, after practice, but I don't like to bog practice down with hearing a lot of coaches' voices instructing. I like that to be done individually with guys. And so I think just the pace of practice, maybe, Scotty, was different maybe than what Chris was used to. And I thought he was a pretty good practice player through most of the summer. But then I thought he jumped up the last 3 weeks to become one of our better practice players. So he's leapfrogged a lot of guys as far as just an effort in practice. I think he's picking up our schemes a little bit better, maybe than he was throughout the summer session in early September. We have seen growth in his execution, and then also just at the pace that he's practiced with as well.
You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you've mentioned previously that you just kind of want this team to maybe be a little bit tougher. Is DC one of those guys, 6'6", he had like 15 rebounds in the first exhibition. Like, is that the kind of toughness that you're looking for?
Yeah, I mean, I think DC, definitely did a really, really good job on the glass. And on a night that we gave up, too many offensive rebounds, I thought he was the one guy that gave us an edge on the glass a little bit with his pursuit of loose balls. DC's got to be a better defender for us. I mean, he's a guy that you mentioned, Scotty, that's got great length, athleticism. Now we need him to, he's bought into what we're doing from a scheme standpoint, but now, he's got to follow that game plan and understand how to chase guys off screens. And I think maybe most importantly, from a defensive standpoint with the DCs, he's got to be a little bit more disciplined in his defensive approach, but certainly from a toughness and a will to battle on the backboards. I mean, he showed that, he's a guy that we can rely on from a rebounding standpoint.
Terry?
Yes. I guess, Coach, what has surprised you most about this team early on, and maybe what aspect do you want to see improved the most here early in the season?
Yeah, I think, Terry, we have to improve on offense. We've got to improve on defense. We've got to improve offensively sharing the ball. We've got to improve on a higher assist team. We've got to improve defensively on following the game plan and our pick and roll coverages. We've got to get better weak side help. We've got to keep the ball out of the middle from a defensive standpoint. If we wouldn't have played the exhibition game, I thought our practices were pretty well. I actually think this team at times practices better than last year's team. But last year's team had some gamers. Justin and Jay Tate and Moses, when we started playing games, like those guys produced at a high level. And those guys played better in games than they did in practice, quite frankly. We did not have guys in a small sample size, a 40-minute sample size. We did not have players play better in the game than they did in practice. We have a group of guys, quite a few guys that play better in practice than what they showed last week. So this will be another test on Saturday to see how we play in a game atmosphere. Because like I said, from a work ethic and buying in practice, this group's been as good as any team that I've been around. But, you want that to correlate to an in-game situation as well.
Thank you.
Got time for one final follow-up, Bob?
Hey, Eric, I was, the year you were selling tickets for the Clippers, the year before that, they were 12-70. I was just curious, what's the sales pitch for a team that was 12-70? How'd you sell any tickets at all, let alone get ticket guy of the month or whatever?
Hello, this is Eric Musselman calling from the LA Clippers. Could I interest you in talking about season tickets? Click. That's what I got a lot of, Bob. A lot of hangups. But I'm going to tell you the key to being the LA Clippers account executive of the month for 3 straight months. And I think I was 4 or 5 actually before.
4 or 5? Okay. Well, I'll update that.
Here's the key. Felicia was the receptionist. So all incoming calls, Felicia would direct to my desk. And she was supposed to send those calls to all 12 account executives in order. 1, 2, 3, 4. But I got them all going to my desk. I was really smart and learned to become good friends with Felicia so that I could get all the incoming calls. Because when you're selling tickets for a team that's won 12 NBA games, there's not a lot of cold calls that it's going to work for. You got to get those incoming calls because those are people that already have somewhat of an interest in ticket sales. And the good thing is I wasn't on that coaching staff either that only won 12 games.
So the headline will be Eric Musselman has a lot of hangups.
No, every account executive did with the Clippers.
No, when you said that, it just popped in my head,
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate your time.
We're back and better than ever. A new web interface to start the basketball season and more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline remains your #1 spot for all basketball and football action this season. Head to the new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BELIEVE50 to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV 50 to receive your bonus. From basketball, football, and baseball postseason, NHL, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts.